Alright, here we are again. One more, a couple more probably, Digimon content videos for you, but I've got something kind of special today. Me and a guy from the Digi-Battle TCG Facebook group, his name is Jasper Mook, we have recently been working on converting some of the cards from set 3 through 6 into the sort of more traditional templating of the cards. As I've kind of talked about before, I'm not a big fan of the way the cards eventually looked. I liked the way they looked when they first came out. Has something more nostalgic about it for me. But we've been sort of slowly converting them, changing the 3D art to the more sort of hand-drawn, detailed art that they used on the actual cards. Our first set was just 25 cards that I've just kind of wanted to build decks around. I'm just kind of gonna run through them quick here, show you what we've got. These were printed actually through a company called Make Playing Cards, and they turned out quite well. Overall, I'm pretty pleased. They were super cheap, so I'm definitely pleased in that regard. I'll compare them to a couple of actual real cards here in a second too, but then there will be a deck profile for a couple of these too. It's a big part of why I had them made. But if we go through, we just start with Vmon here. He is just one of your rookies, basic, nothing really special to write home about, but he's just cool, and he lets me start Vdramon, X-Vdramon, that kind of thing, which is really what I wanted to build. Also, it gave me an excuse to play a couple of other cards later in the stack here. The one issue that I have with some of the Make Playing card stuff is that it is sort of off-center. You'll see the one side is real narrow here on some of the cards, and the other is real not. Now, that being said, there are some real printed cards that do the same thing, but I would have liked it if these were a little more centered. We had them on their templates and everything, and it still didn't quite cut it. And then I've seen some of Jasper's sets that he ordered too, and so different cards aren't centered, so I don't think it's specifically one card's fault. I think it's just maybe their machine or their printer. But overall, for the 25 card stack, I think I paid like $9 or something, and they are full, real cards. They even have the actual card back, and it's not quite the same hue. It's a little bit lighter, but it's just about believable. Especially in a sleeve or in a deck with other cards that are real. It's very easy to just sort of blend in. It looks really nice. But it's already been a couple minutes in here. Let's just kind of get moving. So we've got Vmon. We've got a Hawkmon rookie here. We also ended up with an Armadillomon. You'll kind of sense a theme with these fellas here. My favorite rookie, Guillemon. Had to have him done too. I'm really happy with the way his card turned out. I think he looks really, really good. And of course a Wormmon. The Wormmon is really important to go with Vmon and some of the later Digivolutions for the deck. As we get into the champions that we had printed, we did X-Vmon for Vmon here. He also digivolves off of Agumon and Gabumon. Has his own special effect, add 30 points to your Digimon power when you fight a Insectoid Digimon. Then we've got Growlmon. Again, this is one of the ones that's really off-center with the cut, which kind of bums me out. I was really excited about the Growlmon line too. But here he is, looking nice. Then we did do the 3 Fox Kids promos that normally they were paper and they came with that gold border and came in the Fox Kids magazine. We had them made into physical cards, which is a big part of why there's a Hawkmon and an Armadillomon in there as well. But this just makes these, actually playable. I think there's something really nice about the traditional art. I think it's really detailed. It looks really good. We have a Sethmon here as well. It's our only sort of dark card in the stack, but it does digivolve off of Vmon and Guillemon. So it's actually going to go in the Guillemon deck as sort of half of its digivolve chain. And of course we have a Stingmon. Stingmon goes along with the X-Vmon and gets us into our sort of ultimates that we had made. We've got Dino Beamon digivolving from or DNA Digivolve from Stingmon and XVmon, which this card probably won't make the actual final cut of the deck, because it just doesn't go anywhere after this. But it was cool to see it made. It does have a really good effect to add 60 points to your power every time you offline a rookie Digimon from your hand. So if you're just sitting there and you don't need the rookies, you just can buff your power up. Paildramon, though, on the other hand, this is, really what I wanted to build. XVmon and Stingmon still, that's what this is, the sort of point of this. Add 50 points to your Digimon power when you fight a Mega. So he's just a little bit stronger against Megas too. He's got great stats, 300, 440, 460. Just really cool, and the art I think is fantastic. Then we've got a War Growlmon. And this here is what I was talking about. We've got the Sethmon in here, so there's just a little bit easier way to actually play this card. We had one sort of like empty spot we couldn't quite decide what to do with. We were like 24 cards, we thought 25 would be a nice round kind of number. And we decided Black War Greymon could get some love. Metal Greymon and Mega Seadramon. I think this is actually a really cool card because it's going to open up a couple of different paths into the Mega Seadra, Metal Seadramon deck. It'll give you another Mega to go to. It'll let you play the Agumon chain, which will kind of create some cool interactions too. And then Imperial Dramon in fighter mode. Here, he just has to be played on top of the Dragon mode version of Imperial Dramon, which we'll see here in a second. His effect is sort of small here. It's a little hard to see through the camera, but it's void all opposing Digimon special effects. Triple your Digimon power when you send an Omnimon card from your hand offline. So if you got Omnimon in your hand, you can just throw it to make, 1800 power. Very strong. And then Dragon mode as well. You get 200 points when you Digivolve to this Digimon. You double your power when confronting a Digivolved with a Digi-Egg Pokemon. Digimon. And this uses Paildramon and Metal Greymon, or Vidramon, or Nightmon. Obviously the build will be using Paildramon and Metal Greymon, but Vidramon will probably be in there as well, just to give us one other option. Plus it lets you go straight from Vidramon, which is a champion, into a Mega, which is really nice. We got a Gallantmon, who goes off a War Growlmon. Triple your score when you offline a Warrior Digimon card from your hand, a maximum of once, but still, tripling your score is huge. You need a depowered Digivice, which we also did have made. We get into a couple of extra cards here. We introduced a new card type, the Digi-Eggs, the Courage, and Miracles. Digi-Egg of Knowledge, and Digi-Egg of Love. Then we've got the depowered Digivice, the red-green. I only had one of these made. We could have done more. We will eventually, but really it's just because he's green. So we picked this one because it had green in it. And lastly, we picked Shining Digivolution. This card's really cool. I really like the art. You just Digivolve any Digimon to the next level, regardless of requirements. Place this card face down on the power port, and place the next level Digimon face down on the Digivolve zone. You just discard 2 cards from your hand to do so. So it's like Ultra Digivolve, but you discard 2 instead of your entire hand. So having an extra outlet to that is going to be really neat as well. But yeah, that's the set. I'm really excited about it. It turned out phenomenally well. It's, I can't take a ton of credit for it. I had a lot of ideas for what cards I wanted and how I wanted kind of text to look, but all the art is all Jasper. He absolutely nailed it. These are all the names are all actual letters that he took from other Digimon cards and cut them and then saved sort of an entire folder full of the letters and then resized and put them where they go. He spent the time figuring out what the text is supposed to be within the individual boxes. I mean, he absolutely blew it out of the water. I could not be happier with how that looked. I was worried at first about Stingmon. He was kind of dark, but actually in person he's super good. He's still a little dark on camera here, but he's super green on the card. He looks fantastic. These are exciting to not have to sort of fuddle with the paper copies anymore. It'll be neat. and then Guilmon, Growlmon, XVmon kind of stuff. I'm really excited about that. Those are my two favorite Digimon lines, the Guilmon line and the Vmon line. So to be able to build decks around that, and especially have them look the way that I want them to look, is going to be really, really cool. One last thing I want to go over is just to show off, to kind of compare them to some cards that, some real cards that actually exist. So here's, just a stack of extra cards and things. This is just a Magnamon, which will be going in this deck. As you can see, they are incredibly close. The font color on the proxies, if you will, is slightly less yellow. It's not quite as vibrant, but the cards themselves, are a convincing shade of blue. They're not, I wasn't worried about that. The sizing is all good. The text looks believable in the same boxes. I think it's really great. One thing we also made sure to do, these are custom cards, but they are actually the real versions of them, so their stats are all correct. All of their text and everything hasn't been changed. They've just been formatted to look like the older cards. So while for me, I'm going to play these because I don't like the way the old cards look, these would technically be legal because they are the exact version of the cards that we were playing, or that you would actually play. Obviously they're fake, so that's up to your opponent, but at this point in the game, who gives a shit if it's all proxy, really? But I'm just really impressed at how well they turned out. I was so happy to see these come in today, and I'm really excited to get a deck put together and see how it does. Well, guys, hang out for the next one. Finally gonna put this card in the deck. It'll be right up next. See you later.